Ladies and gentlemen, to round number 5 for the Netherlands race, obviously. The Dutch Grand Prix at the circuit of Zandvoort, round number 5 on this F1 2020 Formula 1 calendar. And yeah, today, obviously, hopefully we can have a pretty solid Grand Prix. You never know. But the aim is to score more points, just like last time. Last time we had a decent Grand Prix, except, well, obviously, go and check that video out to see what happened. But in case you don't want to, basically, we were running quite well, okay. Then, basically, I get tangled, I think it was with Charles Leclerc. You know, a little bit, and yeah, we sort of slide off. We sort of semi-saved it, I guess, using flashbacks. Yeah, it wasn't a great Grand Prix. It wasn't a Grand Prix to remember. I think we finished P8 or P7. We still finish ahead of Lance Stroll, which, yeah, is no surprise, obviously. But, neither here or there. Round number 5 today for the Netherlands Grand Prix. And hopefully we can have a pretty solid race, of course, and hopefully we can do some pretty decent business, I hope, today. Through, I don't know, look, we'll see what we can do. Let's get into the first practice session then for today, and hopefully we can do some decent work, getting some resource points on the board, and yeah, we'll see what actually happens. Obviously, I would like to do pretty decently because, you know, it's first time we've come to the Netherlands, obviously. So, I want to exceed my expectations. You know, Zandvoort, it's a circuit, well, I wouldn't say we all know and love. It's a circuit, though, that we're all going to get to know and hopefully we'll all love, eventually. But it's a circuit that is new to the calendar, and I think, you know, quite honestly, a lot more people are a lot more excited about the Netherlands, more than obviously, well, more than obviously Vietnam. Like, I'm excited to see what Vietnam has in store. However, I'm more optimistic to see the Netherlands, Zandvoort, because obviously it's a circuit that is actually got a bit of a history with Formula 1 back in the day, so for it to be back on the calendar, on the F1 2020 calendar, is, I think, rather exciting to see, because, yeah, it's a circuit, again, you know, that's back on the calendar for 2020, and I think that's quite exciting overall, to see and to know that it's back in Formula 1 for 2020 and beyond, and yeah, you know, I'm quite excited about that. But we'll see what will happen then. So as we head down into turn 1, then here, and yeah, turn 1, taking first green gate. Obviously, majority of the gates need to be purple if we want to get the full resource points. Not sure how many gates we have to get here to go purple, but obviously it need be, I imagine, the majority, as always. Maybe a little bit more than majority, technically. I think it got to be 2/3 of gates you must have to be purple. So yeah, we're certainly not going to get the purple then on this lap, because that's a red gate. So right now, first lap, obviously on the game around here, and it's a tricky little circuit, you know, it's not easy, it seems rather more technical than I'd say you first think, you know, but it's a fun, it's unique, it's a bit of a challenge.
Good work. You seem to have a solid handle on the lap. Let's try and
overall, let's see what we can do then on our second lap, and yeah, straight off into the gravel track then there. We're just going to use a flashback. We're at the start of the lap now anyway, so it won't affect beat us, and it is only practice, so I prefer make errors in this session than make errors later on during the race weekend, if you know what I mean. It's a whole lot better. You really want to be ironing out them errors by the time we get to like time we get to qualifying and into the race. Don't really want to be making any errors whatsoever, so prefer just iron them errors out in practice and have a very decent qualifying. So our final corner, is that enough to take the full resource points? Not too sure. No, it isn't. But is enough to get the green, so need 215. We only missed out by 10 there. Now, if we missed out by 10, surely we've just already picked up those 10 in that first corner gate. Literally. So long we don't have too much wrong with this lap, well, surely we've got the green and the purple here, and in fact this lap is already a little bit better than that last lap, but we've missed that one, so if that goes red I am just going to use a flashback again, because we didn't really make a mistake, we just went a bit too deep into the corner. There you go. So Ricardo first guy to join me on the mediums, and we're looking a little bit quicker at this stage than on the mediums. And there we go. So right, that's okay then. We've done pretty decent then there, I would say, overall. In that first one. Next, tire management, which again is just about managing tires. So long we get a green or a purple, I'll accept that. Took me a while though there in that last one to get the complete purple score in terms of resource points, which, yeah, is a bit of a shame. So far what I think about this circuit, well, I don't know. I like it. It isn't the easiest of circuits to drive, I will say that. It's certainly not easy, but it's old school. You make a mistake here, you do get punished, which I'm a bit of a fan of myself. I do like that old school layout where you make a mistake, you're either off into the gravel track, or, you know, you got grass, so you're gonna lose time. It's not the easiest of circuits to drive. Like, and a lot of the corners you have to be fairly, I say, committed to as well here. Like, you can't be, how can you put it in user-friendly terms? You can't back down. I was going to use a different word, but yeah, you can't really back down here. Like, the circuit makes you generally want to attack the lap, attack the corners. You gotta be brave here. You can't be the opposite too brave, which I think makes it a very tough circuit, actually. If you want to maximise the lap time here, you certainly got to be quite brave, quite daring, which I like. You know, it's a real challenge of a circuit. it's not a easy circuit to get the best out of the car at either. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying this circuit of Zandvoort. But we'll see what we can do then, obviously, in qualifying. Don't forget, this is practice. Maybe come qualifying in the race, I won't enjoy it as much. I don't know. We'll see what goes on in them sessions. But for now, I do like it. And as I said, I'm looking forward to this circuit. Been on the calendar. It's such a shame that this is one of the circuits we've lost from this year's calendar in real life. I really think it's a real shame. But at least Formula 1 is racing. That's, I think, the main thing most of us are happy about. That F1 is racing and that we do have some action. And yeah, you can just see what I mean. You go off circuit here, you really do get punished. We're just going to restart the lap sort of from using a flashback like that. But yeah, you really do get punished here for going off circuit. Obviously, it's not the easiest of tracks to either hook up a lap either. There is so many corners where you can just make tiny errors here and there and cost you lap time. For instance, so difficult I'm finding to get like that all hooked up. I will say that, like, this sector is probably the difficultest, the middle sector here. So open our DRS, run to the line, and it's a 1 minute 12. So pretty decent lap time, I suppose. Right now that's predicting, I think we're going to be 9th, it was saying, or 7th, not too sure. But if that's the case, you know what, that's a pretty decent. So estimated qualifying position is 7th. So what it's estimating us to be, so it's saying we're going to be fairly competitive around here. Which, if we are, I'm happy with that, and it would be quite, I think, nice if we are, you know, that far up the grid. You know, obviously we end first practice session, obviously on top as well, on top then there. But obviously it's only the first session. I'm not going to get ahead of ourselves, because that's probably the worst thing we can do right now. Even though everything in that session was indicating the car is there or thereabouts, it's certainly competitive enough to be, well, up there with the Mercedes, Ferraris and Red Bulls. That's what that was indicating anyway, or be best of the rest. Which, if it is, I'll take it, but don't get me wrong, let's not get carried away with that. Let's keep calm, let's keep focused, and let's convert first before celebrating the goal, if you know what I mean. Cool. We don't want to celebrate too soon, you know what I mean there. Because that's the worst thing you can probably do in any sporting competition, or anything really in life, is celebrate too soon, and then it all backfires knowingly. 9 times out of 10. It all backfires on me, and yeah, we turn out, no, we're not 7th, we're 17th or 15th. I doubt we're going to be that low down the grid. I think we're probably mid-table, but we'll see. We will see. So, heading into qualifying now. It's going to be a dry qualifying, which is good. Yeah, you know, I wouldn't really like to take the circuit on yet in the rain, because I don't really know it too well, and I'm still learning, like, the optimal line through here, of course. You know, I want to learn the circuit prior to, you know. Anyway, here we go then for qualifying, and let's see what we can do then here. As Lance Stroll just getting out, just slightly ever before me, so the 2 racing points, us 2 racing points out. Line astern, then here. Lance Stroll will be the first one to commit to the lap, so he will be the first driver to complete a lap at Zandvoort in qualifying then today. That is a guarantee, unless obviously I catch up to him and overtake him. However, I'm not going to, because that would be foolish. So I've been let out into a nice gap, but yes, us 2 racing points will be guaranteed to take pole position for the short while at least. But which order, not too sure yet. We'll see though, we'll soon find out whether or not I've got that pace that we were showing in practice, or whether or not we're a bit off the pace. We will see. So as we prepare to start our lap, down into turn 1 we go. Getting a good exit. I don't think it was the best run ever I'll get through turn 1, but it was okay. Bit wide in turn 2, but that's a bank corner, so there's probably more than one line there actually through turn 2. Anyway, so far so good, I'd say. Hit through up, let's go, run to the line. So Stroll does fastest lap, we just beat that, so we're on provisional pole 4 now with a 1 minute 11.6. Vettel goes ever so slightly faster with a 1 minute 10.9, so very good job from Sebastian Vettel then there. So yeah, you know, overall can't complain at that. Vettel just getting out of Vettel's way just in case. Oh, well, I was off the line, you know. Vettel was going incredibly slow, so that's Vettel impeding there, I'm sorry to say, to Lando Norris. I was off racing line. I never go on the race, well, I always stay off racing line or try my best. Because, yeah, I don't really like to impede other drivers, especially if they're on a lap. So Albon's done a lap, so I don't have to worry. And yeah, right now, that lap seems pretty solid, because we're ahead of Stroll, we're ahead of Sainz, so that's one of McLaren's. And that's really been the team we've been fighting all season long, is McLaren. Do bear that in mind. So, yeah, to me, that lap seems quite solid overall. Anyway, in we come. Obviously, we're going to be wheeled back into our pit garage for now. And obviously we will wait in the pit garage, obviously until basically the end of qualifying, where we will basically try and commit to one final lap, maybe one lap where, well, I hope we're going to learn where we basically lost time on that last lap, which I wouldn't say there's too much more time in the bank, maybe a couple more tenths as the track naturally ramps up. I wouldn't say necessarily though it was, you know, a lap that had many flaws. And in fact, just to point that out, you can see we were fastest in the final sector. We're faster than all these cars, every single one of the 20 so far. Which, again, you know, as I said, which would indicate our lap was pretty decent. And, yeah, as the track ramps up, maybe there's still more time to come, you know, but considering we're the fastest car in that final sector, that to me suggests, you know, well, we're no longer fastest car in final sector, because Bottas has other intentions, but that did suggest to me we did a pretty decent job. Anyway, we're gonna go probably in 5 seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's go. So we're gonna go now. So then by the time we get out, I want to be the last car to cross the line, or somewhere in that region. The reason why I want to be the last car across the line is obviously, well, the further, you know, behind you, usually it's the better. So right now we're in 8th. We'll let Grosjean go up my inside then now.
Remaining, just 1 minute.
Alright. I'm probably gonna have to go straight away. That's probably the gap that's gonna have to do. So we're not gonna get 100% clean air here. And the reason for that is because we got AlphaTauri coming closely up behind me. As we head into turn 1. Not gonna focus on that delta. My focus is literally on the lap. What I'm doing right now. So I can see about 3-4 tenths up, almost half a second gained. I don't think it's going to be, well, it's going to be some sort of improvement. We're going to get a small toe to the end of the lap from Kevin Magnussen. That does improve. Where did we go? P7, best of the rest. I'll take that. Absolutely beautiful then there. And yeah, the car is rather hooked up around here, I will say that. Cause my teammate Lance Stroll, you know, basically on the same row of the grid as me, you could argue. Only 2 tenths splitting the two of us. So, yeah, the car is quite hooked around here, which to me probably indicates we qualified exactly where we should have qualified. And plus, you know, we were predicted in in that qualifying run to qualify in 7th, so yeah, overall, I think that is the maximum result we should have got from the car anyways then today. Which is very, very good indeed. So P7, I'll take that overall. Well, I've got no choice, you know, because once the clock runs out and you cross the line for the final time, then that is where you finish anyway. So that was a pretty decent qualifying. No real errors, actually. Did we make any errors in them 2 runs? I don't think we did. Like, I think I cost myself a little bit of time in that final lap, out of, I think it's not too sure which turn it is, but that fast right-hander where you're basically 6th gear, almost flat out, not quite flat out, but I probably did cost myself a little bit of time through there because I did, you know, graze the grass a little bit. But other than that, I didn't really put a foot wrong too much in that lap. Everything felt pretty hooked up well, kissing all the apexes really. And yeah, you know, overall that was a pretty solid qualifying. But now it's time for the race.
It was 35 years ago that the late great Niki Lauda took his 25th and final Grand Prix win here at Zandvoort. He came from 10th on the grid to beat his McLaren teammate Alain Prost by just 0.2 of a second. Well, Zandvoort is a very different circuit today, of course, but still one with an incredible legacy. And we're going to add to that. Welcome along to the 2020 Dutch Grand Prix. A lap of this short 2.6 mile Zandvoort circuit features 14 corners, 10 to the right and 4 to the left. The main straight is 678 meters long and heads into turn 1, the Tarzan corner. With DRS down the main straight into the braking zone, that could be the best overtaking opportunity on the track. Joining us today to oversee all the thrills and spills, it's Anthony Davidson. And great to see you. How are you feeling about the race today, and how are the circuit conditions from what you've seen?
Well, it's looking a bit cold out there, if I'm honest. These tyres have quite a narrow operating window in terms of the temperatures they need to extract the best grip. So with a cold track surface, it's going to be harder to keep those temperatures up, which will lead to lower grip and maybe more mistakes.
It's time to see how our
So here we go then for the grid rundown, and it's Bottas on pole from Max Verstappen in the Red Bull. Third, we have Lewis Hamilton, followed by fourth, Sebastian Vettel. Fifth, Alex Albon. Sixth, we've been promoted up then there. Seventh, Stroll. Eighth, Kvyat. Ninth, Sainz. 10th, Ricardo. Pierre Gasly. 11th, 12th, Ocon. 12th, Raikkonen. 13th, 14th, Norris. 15th, Leclerc. And yeah, now, yeah, as soon as you fall behind on that, you really do. Hence why I'd probably be a bad commentator. But anyway.
Points finished last race. Let's aim to keep the momentum going.
So we've been promoted up to 6th then here at the start due to a grid penalty for Charles Leclerc. But that's only going to benefit me because, you know,
We're learning the gears, so go through them all if you can.
to be truthful, I'm not going to complain. And yeah, we're going to hopefully take some excellent points here with our teammate also. Because P6 and P7, if we finished in that, you know, way, that's what? 8 plus 6, that's 14 points overall from the race weekend, which would be a pretty solid job. Overall, we will want to, of course, go for it. I'm not gonna back down. Like, if we get the opportunity to be higher, and let's say we're racing Albon, I will go for it. I will try and,
Radar is clear.
you know, race Albon, and I will try and make sure we can take full advantage. But so far, if we're not racing Albon, I'll just make sure we don't really fall behind, if you know what I mean. I'll just try and clear off from my teammate. So right, we're forming the grid now as we prepare to start the first Dutch Grand Prix for Season 1. Let's see what we can do
Be patient and watch for the lights.
as we head into the first Dutch Grand Prix. Who will win? Will it be Verstappen, who's starting in a fairly decent position, if he certainly wants to win? Will it be Mercedes? 5 red lights. it's lights and away we go. We make almost the perfect getaway then there. I think you could have said we did actually make the perfect getaway. I certainly felt it was perfect, and that's me up into P5 at the start of this Dutch Grand Prix then here, and a little bit of contact between myself and Hamilton, a bit more contact between myself and Albon. Albon looking very punchy though, and yeah, Albon straight back pass, so barely a lap, you know, in that position. Then there, and Albon getting straight back past me.
We've held position on lap 1. That's not great, but it's not terrible. Stay focused.
So we get an awesome run out of that position. Down into the chicane. Can we get the car slowed? Yes, we can. And that's myself back into P5 then. So this has been a bit of a mad first lap for myself. Like, we've gone from, well, an awesome start, getting Albon immediately off the line, then to basically down to P6, almost within less than half a corner, because Albon got an excellent run out of the corner, and then immediately we almost get Albon back immediately down the straight. So overall, very good start from ourselves. Like, yeah, that's crazy start overall, I'd say. So the leaders are obviously clearing off out in front. Hamilton, Vettel, Verstappen and Bottas. And yeah, quite honestly, we're not matching the lap times. But I wouldn't expect to be either. Like, you know, my main goal is to beat my teammate and to beat maybe Albon. Maybe Albon. Like, right now we're doing both of them, and yeah, I want to see what we can do. I don't care necessarily about beating Lewis Hamilton, because quite honestly, Lewis Hamilton is, I'm not going to say better driver, but at this stage in the career mode, he is the better driver out of the two of us, and you know, he's in the better of the two cars as well, equally, for good measure. So obviously I'm not expecting to be on the same level with a 6-time world champion racing for Mercedes that obviously does have DAS but doesn't have DAS in the game. But yeah, I'm not expecting to be on the same level as that Mercedes, even though a lot of people have dubbed this car to be a B-Tech Mercedes. Anyway, let's get back to Albon. 1 second roughly as we cross the line, lap 4. And overall, feeling okay with the car, not feeling anything unusual or feeling like I'm under pressure. And I will say that last lap wasn't my greatest of laps. I will say, first sector I find really sweet here. Middle sector is okay, like there are some nice corners in middle sector. Final sector, I don't know. So 3.9 seconds down.
Use your overtake button. front is 3.9 seconds.
So overall, this is, well, so far just been, by obviously as you can tell, just a race for me to get comfortable with the car. Like right now, like Albon's not really challenging us from behind. We're not challenging Hamilton, who's in front, or the race leaders. So it just feels like right now a bit of a test session really here, like of my driving abilities, not really anything else. Feels like we're leading the Grand Prix, you could say, almost, but not leading the Grand Prix, if you know what I mean. Feels like I'm leading the race, but not leading it.
You'll be on the mediums.
Like, because the gap obviously I've got behind me is certainly a decent one, and one where basically I don't really have to put, well, I'm not feeling pressurized at the moment. I'm not feeling as if, oh, you know, Albon's putting me under imminent danger where, yeah, he's gonna breeze past. I've got a 2-second gap back to my teammate. Again, you know, you don't really feel pressure at that gap. I feel quite calm right now. I'm just, you know, working with the car all in harmony right now. Trying to just not even extract performance out of the car, because to be honest, there's not really much more performance to get out of this car at the moment anyway. I feel like I'm controlling right now everything, which is nice. Like, obviously if I do make a mistake, Albon is there to bite though at the moment, so is Lance Stroll. But point is, I'm not pressurized, so I'm less likely to make a mistake. Having said that, I've just gone off the circuit, and I want to use a flashback, but then again, should I? No, I'm not going to, because that'd be cheating. Let's just accept it for what it is. Let's try and regain focus, because that's the better way. However, now we are going to use a flashback. We can only flashback as far as here, so we're going to flashback basically to here. But yeah, now we've made our first error of the afternoon, or the day. That puts Albon back up into P5. However, well, my car was quicker, and therefore I should have the pace to get back past Albon in theory. Let's see if we do. Here we go. I think we should have Albon here. And we go into the Tarzan curb. Probably the only corner name I know around here. As Albon looking under a lot of pressure. As we basically waltz around Alex right now. So probably not going to be able to get him before End of this lap. But yeah, we have made an error, but either way, we're still feel quite comfortable with the car. Even though I was talking about errors, I must have put the commentator's curse on it, which I don't know. I personally believe in commentator's curse. Have we gone? Right, we're gonna use another flashback here, just so we don't get that penalty. I will say, it is a quite weird pit lane you got here. Not only is it quite tight, but thing I find, or I don't like about it, is the fact,
Look after these tyres now.
you know,
Finish the race on this compound.
it's like it's tight, but also you carry so much speed into the actual pit lane entrance. It's actually quite tempting just to not slow the car down, if you know what I mean. It's a weird pit lane. I'm not a fan of the entrance here, I will say that. Right, next up is Russell. Probably would have helped if we did get ahead of these guys, but I don't want to really catch them too quickly. I sort of want to get the DRS and the positive effect right now off
Is in for his
being behind them. And get Russell down into turn one. Right, so we got Russell, we got Stroll, but also Sainz has got Stroll then there as well. So those actually, by the looks of it, on the undercut, may have just benefited there a lot. Or who stopped on lap 8 may have just benefited a lot. I'm not too sure. We'll see. We just scrape the grass.
Some
And
information on
Giovinazzi
They're retiring from the
is
race.
out then there.
Gap to car in front is 3.0 seconds.
Lap 10. About the start of lap 11. As we ran the final corner. So gap back to Sainz is around 2 seconds, is it? No, 1.3. Okay, misjudge that a little bit. Let's try and open that gap up to around 2 seconds. Because Carlos Sainz is, well, in a McLaren, and McLaren isn't no slouch of a car, pretty quick car. However, in a straight line, I think we've probably got the legs on the McLaren with the Mercedes engine, and yeah, that's second time I've done that. That gravel track really likes the Racing Point a lot. Honestly, what is Sainz doing there?
Give the other cars a bit more room if you can. It'll be a problem for us if we damage the car or get slapped with a penalty.
Honestly, like, that is Sainz's fault, that is. He went up my inside at a corner where no one goes up the inside at, honestly. Like, I don't know what he's thinking of. And surely you should be a bit more intelligent than that, knowing that there's a DRS straight next, like, straight. So
This energy.
yeah, that is quite stupid. Anyway, we're in 5th. I don't care about Sainz not being funny. he made that error, not myself, because we kept the car on the road, plus I was in front of him, therefore he had no rights to be there.
Okay, gap ahead is 10.9 seconds.
To be honest, like, yeah. These medium tyres, I will say, they don't feel as good as the soft tyres. I would prefer the soft right now on the car, but it is what it is. Right, Stroll's behind me right now, so obviously Stroll not really putting me under much pressure at the moment. He's only, though, 0.8, just a little over half a second. I will say it is good this year that you can see like where you're gaining, where you're losing time. I think that's really cool to see that graph this year. So as you can see, like, I think we're gaining a lot here on the exit, if I'm correct. Let's see. Gaining a little bit, not much on the exit. But we're mainly probably gaining in the slow speed, so that corner was certainly gaining a bit. Also, we're doing pretty well on the exit of the final corner. Not too bad, like, compared to others. So yeah, that does help. Lap 14, and still running in 5th, despite a couple of mistakes this race. Like, yeah, overall, I think it's been a pretty solid race. Even though, I tell you what, we made one mistake at that gravel track, and we're certainly, you know, going to be behind our teammate. So I can't really let that happen, because, yeah, it's Lance Stroll. How can I finish behind Lance Stroll? It's just not going to happen, mate.
12.5 seconds.
Even though Lance Stroll's been... I swear, I need to stop, you know, saying shit about Lance Stroll, because, honestly, that is just... Every time I say something, I swear I put a curse on it. If I said, oh, we're going to win this race, we'd probably actually win this race. Or we wouldn't win this race, we'd probably retire. But yeah, like... The commentator's curse is real. You're witnessing it, ladies and gents. Like, we did 15 laps, hadn't spun at that corner before, and there we go, we spun at that corner for the first time in 15 laps. In fact, we've done more than 15 laps, and we didn't spin at that corner. We probably did around, well, tell you what, this is becoming a test now to keep the car on the circuit, let alone off it. And yeah, we've now just cost Stroll a position, but oh well, Stroll can go and do one. Like, as I was saying, like, we hadn't spun at that corner all weekend long, yet we spun at it on lap 15. Like, a few corners we haven't spun at, this one there. Have we spun at this corner? No, not yet. Probably not. But, knowing that I've said we haven't spun at it now, that's the new task, to spin at it, probably. Alright. Feeling pressure now. Just a little bit. As Kimi Raikkonen is... No, not Raikkonen, sorry. Leclerc is behind me. So right now, Bottas leading the Dutch Grand Prix. Looks like he's got a victory coming his way. We, on the other hand, look like we're going to have to do a bit of defending in these last couple of laps. As Leclerc going to try and go round the outside at the Tarzan corner. Just not going to happen. Though there. However, will he try a sneaky one down my inside? We're side by side. I'm going to use a bit of ERS on the exit. And yet again, not going to happen. Then as we... Well, I've got one more lap to defend from obviously the Monegasque driver.
Green flag.
And he's just touched my side pod there. Like, again, I'd say he's at fault for that, because he simply is. I wouldn't take the blame for that one. He's gone down my inside, attempted to move, misjudged it clearly there. Same with, you know, what happened, and that's given my teammate back his original position of P6.
This is your final lap of the race.
As we head final time then on the final lap into all these corners. So long we keep it nice and tidy, that's all we gotta do. And that'll be pretty decent actually overall. And yeah, Bottas wins then the first Grand Prix here at the Dutch in the Netherlands. We're gonna come home, by the looks of it, in a healthy P5. Teammates on the inside don't want to hit him. And we are going to take P5 then here at the Dutch Grand Prix. That's a decent result. And yeah, we made only a couple of mistakes in there, so I'll take that one for what it is. Like, only a couple of mistakes. It wasn't like I took, well, it wasn't like I made a bundle of mistakes. Yes, I made a few, like certainly going out wide. Some corners I had some half spins at, but other than that, pace was okay. And yeah, I think that was a pretty decent race result. Probably a fair reflection. Maybe not necessarily on the car, because the car, well, the car probably should have finished P7, I would have said. I don't know what happened to Albon. He just plummeted down the field during the pit stop phase. But overall, it was decent. Gasly finished 9th there. Actually, that's another team that had a solid result today. Was the AlphaTauris finishing P7 and P9. Kvyat 7th and Gasly 9th. So yeah, they had a pretty decent race pace today and qualifying as well. But there we go. That's your top three. Max Verstappen, Valtteri Bottas, Max Verstappen, and Sebastian Vettel taking the last step of the podium. Then they're obviously unrealistic because Ferrari need to be nerfed big time down the order. Like, I don't know, they need to be probably behind us even, possibly, because certainly from first few race weekends I would say it's Mercedes, Red Bull, then Racing Point. In terms of pace-wise, McLaren, 4th, but very close to Racing Point. Then maybe even Renault. Then Ferrari. Then AlphaTauri. I'd then say it's got to be probably Alfa Romeo, no, Haas, Alfa Romeo, Williams. That's probably how I'd say, like, you know, in terms of the pecking order looks at the moment. But yeah, so we do take 10 points in there today, obviously, which is pretty good. And as a team, we scored 18 whopping points, which is pretty decent indeed. You know, that's a pretty solid day out in the office overall. Charles Leclerc moving up from 15th to 8th. Maybe could have got higher if it wasn't for that half spin. We only finished 36 seconds behind race leaders overall. Like, we were certainly quicker than most then there today. In terms of our actual pace, Lance Stroll did go faster than us actually, only by about a tenth of a second during that race pace, but overall I think we were fairly matched with certainly majority of them in that midfield order. Like, yeah, I don't really think there was too much split us, and as you can see, that's the difference in time wise, about 2 seconds really, between ourselves and Hamilton per lap, roughly, which is a lot, of course, maybe about a second per lap, but you know, the point is, like, when that Mercedes was absolutely at its peak, clearly around 2 seconds quicker. Constructors wise, well, we're sat 4th right now. We're quite a healthy 4th actually, with 47 points then. Obviously that 18 points helping massively, it could be said today, of course. So yeah, that'll certainly help us. AlphaTauri moving up then into 5th D ranking, probably one of our rivals this season. Renault F1 down into 6th, but other than that, not really much to say. Verstappen has now overtaken Albon in the Drivers' Championship right now. We pull out now a 13-point gap to Ricciardo. Lance Stroll moves up into 8th on level points with Ricciardo. Leclerc down to 9th. So Leclerc having a horrid second season at Ferrari. Obviously, this is season 1 of the game. So yeah, Leclerc having his second season, very horrid at Ferrari right now. With 14 points, even worse than what he's doing in real life after 2 rounds, let alone 5. So yeah, you know, not good for Leclerc so far. Kvyat 10th right now, again, just only, well, level points with obviously Leclerc, and Sainz down to 8th, now back on, well, on level points with obviously Pierre Gasly. So far there's still still 5 drivers at the moment who haven't scored: Romain Grosjean, Giovinazzi, Kevin Magnussen, and the 2 Williams boys, of course. So yeah, you know, obviously them 2 haven't scored points yet, but so far 8 teams, sorry, 2 Haas, sorry, and 2 Williams and 1 Alpha. Yeah, I don't know whether I said Raikkonen there, I'm just thinking whether I did or I didn't. Let's have a quick look at race highlights in there. And we made, as I say, a pretty beautiful start here. Just watch the pink car on the left, and yeah, you know, pretty amazing start actually, very sweet. In fact, if I could get on board of that, I'll probably go back into race replay after the highlights, just show you how good that start was. Albon had no chance, in fact, literally. But you know, a little bit of contact there between myself and Albon, not much, but immediately off this corner, just look at the exit we got here. Absolutely fantastic exit. We're already alongside, even before we got to the DRS activation point. And yeah, well passing the braking then there. But that was the first of many mistakes. We didn't use a flashback. We just continued it as it was. But either way, I think we were coming in on this lap or the next lap that followed anyway. So yeah, in a way I was a bit, you know, disappointed that mistake. But yeah, that was the first mistake really of a bit of a list of errors, but not many errors actually. The mediums tyres I didn't really enjoy too much. Like, they were okay, I suppose. They weren't the greatest of tyres to have on the car, we'll say that. I didn't really get the same feeling and car response from them, to tell you the truth. This move down here into turn 1 on George Russell, pretty sweet. Late braking sort of, but I got the car turned in quite nicely, carried the speed through the corner, and yeah, that was pretty decent, solid stuff in there. Now, is this a mistake where we sort of went in? Right, we go in quite deep. Just want to have a look at this. We do go quite deep, but oh, I don't know. To me, I feel like, did I leave in the room? I'll probably have to go back and look at it. Like, I think maybe he understeered a little bit. We did go in quite deep, actually, in a matter of fact, but I think that's more his fault rather than, well, I don't know. We did go in very deep into that corner, but then that door is always going to close as well, and once you commit to your racing line as well, I don't know, 50-50. I'm not going to say who's to blame. This one was very odd, actually, even more odd, because you can see Leclerc is nowhere in that corner, and he touches not even my side pod, sorry, he touches my wheel. That's one. If the last one was maybe a bit more 50-50, that's 100%, yeah, that's Leclerc's error. Just over ambitious in there. I wouldn't say that's anything else apart from being over ambitious. But going on to the replay here, first we'll look at it from my perspective. So 5 red lights are on now. As you can see, soon as the lights go out, you know, I'll just show you in full mode. You can see, soon as the lights go out, you can actually see we've already, you know, in fact, is our wheels spinning? No, not yet, but as soon as our lights go out, you can actually see, it's probably, if someone could actually work that out, how much of a difference between lights out, and in fact, you can just see quickly how much better. Lights out are now, our wheels are spinning now, and their wheels, just look, that's how much of a better start we got in terms of reaction. Their wheels haven't even started spinning yet off the grid. In fact, Vettel got a good start, as you can see, because his wheels have started to spin. But that just shows you my reaction there. That's probably the only way you can judge my true reaction to how much, you know, we're gone. Because as you can see, you can tell if the wheels are stable, because obviously you'll be able to see the P0. And in fact, just give you a rough idea. In fact, our wheels are probably starting spinning. Our wheels are spinning about now. If we go back a little bit, just so we can get the first sense of when that motion blur is. There we go. That's first sense of when the motion blur is. And yeah, Vettel's wheels are spinning as well. So pretty much we're on level terms in terms of Vettel's reactions. But yeah, you know, that's the only way I can sort of judge it. If you know what I mean. Because as you can see, yeah. And in fact, let's see how quickly it was before we even got Albon here. I'm pretty sure it was straight away almost. There we go, yeah, straight away. So even before we get to... In fact, by the time we get to this white line, I'm ahead. So by the time we get to the pole position mark, which is where pole would be, I am, in fact, just slightly, ever so slightly, ahead of Alex Albon. And, in fact, by the time we get to turn 1, I'm comfortably, as you can see, I'm comfortably ahead of Alex Albon at turn 1. This first lap, though, was pretty decent, I think, from all angles overall. I quite enjoyed that first lap a lot because, yeah, overall, we had such match, well, we had two great moments. Not only was it turn 1, but also the second DRS straight. I'm not sure what turn it is, but we had an amazing run off the final, well, off that corner. And yeah, again, just something clicked there. Virtually no wheel spin off that corner. Absolutely nothing. So talking about contact, I'm going to say they need to look where they're going, because, yeah, you know. So, overall, pretty happy with that result. I'm not disheartened by it. I'm pretty happy, because that was a decent race result. Let's face that one. I'm pretty sound with it. And yeah, overall, that's a pretty decent race result. So we get 3 points there in terms of the driver rivalry. Right now we're winning that battle between ourselves and Carlos. As we do level up then there, and that will probably put our market value up, I presume. And next is round 6, Spanish Grand Prix, I believe. Usually would be Monaco. So weird to say round 6 is Spain, not Monaco. Because I'm very used to saying, oh, round 6, the Monaco Grand Prix. Yeah, round 6, the Spanish Grand Prix this year. However, there is no Monaco Grand Prix in real life this year, sadly. Either way, so... yeah, obviously... neither here or there. Market value, yeah, we do go up to now 775k. We're now estimated valued at, which I suppose is decent. But yeah, round 6, obviously, we'll do next time. We do have upgrades in the pipeline, however, won't come for this race. Should come in time for the Monaco Grand Prix. That's probably when the next time we'll see them upgrades well and truly be put on the car. But yeah, apart from that, that's about it really. Nothing else really to report on. Thank you for watching. If you have enjoyed this video, I was going to say something else, but if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you do leave it a like. Please share, obviously, that would be a great help. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. Click that bell notification button for obviously notifications for every time I either upload or go live or whatnot. And until the next time, folks, have a awesome day, keep safe, and see you all next time.